Anastasia, and this is That So Letitia. And to all of my new viewers, supporters, subscribers, welcome guys, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoy the content. And to all of my returning viewers, supporters, and subscribers, welcome back guys. Thank you as well for your support. It's always a pleasure to see you. And without further ado, let's jump right into this video. So as always, I'm going to prime my face first using Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Mattifying Face Primer. And the look that I am going for this video, I got inspired to, yes, buy more makeup after watching Pat McGrath's Instagram live tutorial on her glass face makeup look. Now, I will not be attempting to recreate Pat McGrath's glass face look. It's just, that look was everything, but it inspired me because prior to me doing like YouTube tutorials and things like that, I used to be a runway model. And I felt very at home watching avant-garde makeup being applied. That's kind of the sector of the beauty world that I am most familiar with. So I did get inspired, and what I mean by inspired, I purchased Mothership Volume 1, which is the palette that she used for the glass face makeup looks. So we're going to play around with the palette that started it all for her, or at least was her first Mothership palette. Pretty excited. This palette has been out for some years now, but it has taken on a new life, so to speak, with her disclosing that that's the palette that she used for the runway show, glass face look. So let's continue on. Let's get this base going so that we can play in that palette. So now that our primer is on, I'm going to go in and use, of course, a bit of color corrector. And right now my face can use it. I'm kind of trying to conceal some time of the month areas that are just being so stubborn right now. I hate when this happens, but what can we do? We can cover them up. We're going to first apply Huda Beauty's FauxFilter color corrector in the shade Papaya. Going to place this under my eyes. This is a very thin, easy to blend out formula that is amazing for hiding dark marks, blemishes, and also for bringing back a little bit of, I guess, cohesiveness to your complexion, just so that your foundation applies more properly. I had someone recently ask me, what is the orange stuff for? And I use it because it helps to kind of even out my complexion, so to speak. Just so when I apply my foundation, it doesn't have gray tones to it, which are definitely not the vibe that I'm going for. So this helps to neutralize some of those darker, more hyperpigmentation prone areas, so that when I apply my foundation, it applies and has a more even, outcome. So now that I have that on, for my lower face, I'm going to apply Fenty Beauty's Matchstick in Pumpkin. And I'm going to blend all of this out using the Sephora Pro Airbrush Flawless Brush in the number 56. And now that I have the color corrector blended out, I'm going to use e.l.f. Cosmetics Halo Glow Liquid Filter in shade number 6. I really like this. I really do. I didn't think that I would be that fond of it, especially since I am more of a matte makeup kind of gal. But I really like this because it's not overwhelming. It does give a bit of a luminous glow, but it doesn't look like unnatural, you know? I really like applying this. I did read that you can also use it in lieu of foundation. You could use it by itself. I would definitely consider doing that in the warm months when you want to be, you know, dolled up, you want to wear makeup, but maybe foundation is a little bit too heavy for you during the summer months. I could definitely see using this alone during those seasons. But for now, we're just going to apply it and wear it under foundation. And I'm going to blend it out using the same brush. This is the Sephora brush in 56. And it gives you really good coverage, actually. I was pretty shocked. It's a bit of a glow, does have a tint to it in the event that you want to wear it solo. And now for foundation, I'm going to apply Makeup Forever Reboot Foundation, and the shade I am in is Y503. And I will be applying it using a e.l.f. Cosmetics Ultimate Blending Brush. And now for concealers, I'm first going to apply Fenty Beauty's We're Even Long Wear Hydrating Waterproof Concealer. Genius for under the eyes, since that area can get a bit just overwhelmed with product and it's such a thin area, definitely needs to stay hydrated. The shade that I wear in this concealer is 410W for warm. And I only apply it to my under eye areas because I want all of the benefits that they suggest. I need the under eye area to stay looking as radiant, as young, as rested as possible, for as long as possible. Like if there was a troubled area or area of concern on my face, I would honestly state it's the under eye area, just because me and sleep sometimes don't get along and it shows in that area. So products like this that can mask and also help to hydrate and keep that area pampered, it's a plus. I've used this several times before and I actually like the outcome of what my makeup looks like when I do wear it. And next, the second concealer I'm going to use, this is by Juvia's Place I Am Magic in shade number 11. And this is pretty much my brightening concealer. This is a go-to, does exactly what I needed to do, nothing more, nothing less. It says it's a concealer and it conceals. That's all I could ever ask for. And while the concealers are drying down a tad bit, I'm going to begin on my brows using Danessa Myricks Defining Neutrals Groundwork Face Palette. This has become a favorite of mine. The shade I use for my brows is Bark, this one here, and I'm going to apply it using a angled Morphe M165 brush. And to blend in the concealers, I'm just going to take a damp beauty sponge and just blot everything all in. So since I have my concealers blended out, I'm going to apply a layer of liquid blush. This is by Juvia's Place and the shade is called Perky Poppy. This is kind of like a terracotta shade. It's very pretty, and as we know, it's very pigmented. So you start small and build your way up. So I'm going to blend it in using a Eco Tools blush brush. I'm just going in small circles. Make sure I have the product blended out. Probably going to apply another layer after we apply our powders and things of that nature, just so the shade is not lost in all of the powders that I'm going to apply. Speaking of which, powder I'm going to use for this look is Anastasia Beverly Hills Loose Setting Powder, and this is in the shade Deep Peach. This was one of the first powders that just did it for me. First of all, it was the size of the container. It's a very generous size, and then also the way that it pretty much allowed me to bake. This was my baking powder, like literally. And I think it was also because the size of the container, it was just so much to play with that, yeah, I used to bake with this. Not so much anymore, but this is still a really good powder. And then to set my entire face, Too Faced Born This Way multi-purpose pressed powder in the shade Chai. And to apply it, I will be using a e.l.f. Cosmetics pointed powder brush. I just go in and apply a very light layer of this to my entire face. This helps to set everything for me. And it is in the shade of the foundation that I wear in Too Faced. So that kind of helps. And now I'm going to use a bronzer. This one is by Jacyln Cosmetics in the shade Daycation. Kind of bummed because I went to Ulta recently, and I know Jacyln had been teasing for about a year or so that the brand was going to pretty much go out of business, or she was closing, something of that sort. So when I went into Ulta, the sales girl in Ulta told me that it was finally happening. That all of the products that they had in store were like deeply discounted. I tried to get another one of these just because I love this so much. They were all out. They were all out. The girls had cleared out all of the shelves from this particular brand. I'm going to apply another layer of the Juvia's Place liquid blush, still using Perky Poppy. Eco Tools blush brush. All right, and now I'm going to move on to my eyes. As I stated, the palette that I will be working from, this is Mothership Volume 1. This is the one that started it all. This is Mothership 1 Subliminal. Now, one thing I found to be very interesting about this palette is her later palettes, they are very bold, very metallic, very shimmery, very standout-ish, right? This palette is more subtle. I mean, yes, you could see pat shining through in this palette, but this one kind of, in comparison to her later palettes, this one is definitely a little bit more meek, to say the least. This one has several matte transition shades. I was kind of taken aback when I saw that, like, wow, so she did have palettes back in the day that had matte shades, you know, of which you could use as transition shades. Now I'm going to first start off by using this shade here, which is a matte transition shade, guys. And I'm going to apply using my Morphe M504 brush. And again, this is pat, so less is more, and you build your way. And then I'm going to use this matte shade here. And the vibe that I'm going for is a halo eye. So first going to apply it to the inner portion. And I just love Pat's formula. It's so easy to work with. It's so blendable and just, oh, it's a beautiful formula. And then I'm going to use the same on the outer portion of my eye. And then I'm going to take a thinner brush. This is a Makeup Shack T64 brush, and I'm going to go in with the matte black, and that's just to give it a bit of deeper dimension. And guys, be careful. This one has fallout. Now that is something I'm not used to seeing in a pat palette. So it would be helpful to lay down a little bit of loose powder, just for the sake of the fallout that could potentially happen. Okay, so now that I have my fallout proof setting powder under my eyes, I'm going to still use my Makeup Shack T64, and I'm just going to very lightly blend the black matte shade that I applied. And I only used a tad bit. Like, I basically just dabbed my brush in the product, but again, this is pat, so you don't need much. And then I'm going to take this shade here, which is called Skin Show Nude, and applying with my finger, going to go into I feel like some shades you just get so much depth out when you apply using your finger as opposed to a brush. Oh, now that is cute. And Now I'm going to take this duochrome shade here, which is called VR Violet, and apply it to my inner tear duct area. And I'm going to use a Morphe M222 brush to do so. Just a little bit of an accent, not much. And now that the top layer is done, I'm going to wipe off the under eye powder. And for my under eye liner, I'm going to use a black liner by McGrath Labs. And I'm not going to apply it in my waterline, but right at my lower lash line. If you're looking to smoke it out, then the black liner, it kind of serves as a primer for the next step, which is going to be to apply a little bit more shadow. Reason I say it serves as a primer is because sometimes when we apply shadows to our lower lash line, it kind of gets lost in the sauce. After a while of wear, it isn't as vibrant, it isn't as bold, but when you apply a eyeliner first and then apply the loose eyeshadow on top, it tends to last a little bit longer. So I'm going to now apply a thin layer of the black matte shade, and I'm going to use a Eco Tools smudge brush to do so. And then so it's not so bold, I'm going to go back into this matte shade using a blending brush by Eco Tools, and I'm going to blend it out using this shadow. And the same to this eye as well. Moving on to lips, I'm first going to apply a lip liner. This is by NYX Cosmetics in the shade Current. This lip liner, y'all, when I went into the store, I was looking for a more traditional dark brown lip. Oh my goodness, but this one is so pretty. And now on top of that, this is by Pat McGrath. This is a Lush Gloss in the shade named Sunset Rose. Alright guys, so this is the final look. Off camera, I applied some natural looking wispy lashes from Profusion. I am in love with this eye. I really am. This is why. It's the best of both worlds. It's bold and subtle. I love that. I am so happy that I caught the IG Live by Pat McGrath, because otherwise, honestly, I probably would have skipped over Mothership Volume 1. When I found out about Pat McGrath, I want to say I was very late to the party. I found out about Pat about 4 years ago. So I will say, when I first learned about Pat McGrath, I was very intrigued. I was very excited to own some of the products, but I was discouraged at the same time because of the price point. And I was saying to myself, like, oh my gosh, one eyeshadow palette over $100? Okay, I don't know if I could justify that. So I started off small. Sephora sometimes sells many Pat McGrath products, as they do with like Natasha Denona and some of the other brands. And I purchased a mini tiny palette. Two actually. This one is Eye Ecstasy Sublime, and then this one is Eye Ecstasy Subversive. When I purchased these, I believe they were like $25 each. I was sold. I'm like, okay, now I see why her, why her brand has such a prestige price point. It's definitely worth it. And I became an instant fan of hers. I have so many palettes from her. I did not have Mothership Volume 1. It's in stores. Sephora has it online. Ulta has it online as well. And then obviously you can purchase it off of the Pat McGrath website. So that is all I have for you great people this evening. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. Make sure to give me thumbs up if you liked it. Leave me comments, suggestions. And as always, in the description box below, there's going to be a list of all products used to achieve this look. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, your support is so appreciated. You all be well, stay safe, exercise self-care. It is not a privilege, but it is a necessity. Make sure to check in on your strong friends after you check in with yourself. And until next time, we shall chat again soon.